Now we'll quickly wrap up this chapter and then we'll start the second chapter also today. Don't worry. Fundamental forces is basically the nature of the forces. Is either the forces will be because of the mass. We saw a lot of properties also. Fundamental forces in nature is gravitational force, it's electromagnetic force. Gravitational force was the weakest kind of force possible between the two bodies. Second was electromagnetic force, which is because of the property of charges. Either charges will be at rest or in motion. Their combined effect is always studied in electromagnetic force. Most of the forces that we encounter in our daily life is electromagnetic in nature. When we discuss like friction, normal reaction, all those are electromagnetic in nature. Third is strong nuclear force and weak nuclear force. So, like gravity plays a very important role, gravitational force, in the existence of this whole universe, solar system, black hole, planets, stars. Electromagnetic force plays a very important role in the existence of an atom, in the common macroscopic forces, how we are able to walk, how we are able to stand up. Inside an atom, inside the nucleus, inside an atom there is a nucleus, and nucleus is the most stable thing in this whole universe. Nucleus को हम further break नहीं कर सकते in its constituents like in the neutrons and protons. We can slightly modify the composition of nucleus, and even in that slight modification, it produces a huge amount of energy, like during the nuclear explosion and nuclear reactors. Okay, so let's quickly discuss why what is this nature of this force. हमने पढ़ा है न्यूक्लियस के अंदर या तो न्यूट्रॉन्स होंगे या प्रोटॉन्स. So protons are positively charged. These are the protons inside some nucleus, and there will be neutrons. Neutrons are neutral. Neutrons and protons are almost of same mass and same size. Inside the nucleus, neutron में कोई charge नहीं है. Proton is positively charged, and the size of nucleus of the order of the radius of nucleus is very very small, 10 to the power minus 15 meter, which is also called as Fermi or femtometer. Right. So this is one Fermi, or it is also written as FM. So these are the some other terms, terminology for the units, which we'll be seeing in the next chapter, units and measurement. अलग अलग मेजरमेंट के लिए कुछ अलग अलग स्पेसिफाइड यूनिट्स है, लाइक फॉर द size of an atom it is angstrom, for the size of nucleus it is Fermi, so on. Excuse me. Yes. So like neutrons and protons, they have such a small mass that obviously the gravitational force will be negligible. It will be negligible, literally negligible in this case. बचे इसमें protons. Protons have positive charge, and these charges are so close, 10 to the power minus 15. Since this electrostatic repulsive force is inversely proportional to r square, k q1 q2 by r square, and r is 10 to the power minus 15, so there must be a huge repulsive force, 10 to the power 30 के order का. There is a huge repulsive force, and because of that huge repulsive force, nucleus अपने आप break हो जाना चाहिए. Nucleus should not be stable. Nucleus should not be stable. Nucleus should break on its own because of its very very strong repulsive force. Right? But in fact, the practical observation is exactly opposite. The nucleus अपने आप खुद ही अपने repulsion में break हो जाना चाहिए, but in fact it is the most stable thing. So what causes that stability? It was initially unknown. Then Yukawa, another scientist, Japanese scientist, he gave a theory. Inside the nucleus, neutrons and protons that we think it is existing in the form of neutron proton, It does not exist in its original form. It breaks into some smaller particles. He named them as quark. So अभी हम खैर उतना डिटेल में नहीं जाते हैं, अभी सिर्फ हमें समझना ये है न्यूक्लियस के अंदर न्यूट्रॉन्स और प्रोटॉन्स के बीच में there is a very very strong attractive force. Right? It is a very very strong attractive force, 100 times stronger than the electrostatic repulsion. तो जो प्रोटॉन प्रोटॉन में रिपल्शन लग रहा है जिसकी वजह से ऐसा लग रहा है कि इलेक्ट्रॉन न्यूक्लियस शुड ब्रेक ऑन इट्स ओन, it becomes very 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 highly stabilized. So the strong attractive force between the nucleons, nucleons means it is between the neutron proton, it is between proton proton, and it is also between the neutron neutron. Strong attractive force acting between nucleons which overcome nucleons collectively, neutrons and protons are called nucleons. Acting between nucleons which overcomes the electrostatic repulsive force, electrostatic repulsion between the proton. बेटा समझ आ रहा है नहीं? प्रोटॉन्स इतने पास पास हैं, टू पॉजिटिव चार्ज सो क्लोज 10 टू द पावर -15 कि उनमें रिपल्सिव फोर्स इतना ज्यादा होगा कि न्यूक्लियस अपने आप ब्रेक हो जाए. Overcomes electron repulsion between protons and provides the stability to the nucleus. Provides the stability to the nucleus. This is called strong nuclear force. Correct? So nuclear force is again because inside atom हम देख नहीं सकते, nucleus के अंदर हम देख नहीं सकते. So it was proposed by a theory called as Yukawa theory. It is Yukawa theory. Yukawa proposed that inside the neutron nucleus there is a neutron and proton, and neutrons and protons keep on exchanging with each other with the help of quarks. तो ये थ्योरी वैसे हम 12th में पढ़ेंगे, अभी जस्ट फॉर द अंडरस्टैंडिंग, थोड़ी सी क्लियरिटी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे तो लग ही नहीं रहा कि कोई चार्ज होना चाहिए. देयर शुड बी एनी काइंड ऑफ अट्रैक्टिव फोर्स. न्यूट्रॉन पे चार्ज है नहीं, सो न्यूट्रॉन कैन नॉट अट्रैक्ट द अदर न्यूट्रॉन. मास की वजह से केवल अट्रैक्शन हो सकता है, बट न्यूट्रॉन का मास इज वेरी 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 स्मॉल, 10 टू द पावर -27 kg. प्रोटॉन प्रोटॉन में चार्जेस की वजह से केवल रिपल्सिव फोर्स है, एंड दैट शुड ब्रेक द न्यूक्लियस. बट in practical it is exactly opposite. न्यूक्लियस के अंदर न्यूट्रॉन्स और प्रोटॉन्स को हम फर्दर ब्रेक नहीं कर सकते. Proton and neutrons are very 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 strongly bonded. Proton is positively charged, same as the charge of electron. Neutron is neutral. So proton and neutron, they are not just in the form of one particle, they are made up of quarks. This is a theory, again not just proposed, nobody has seen. Quarks are the sub-fundamental particles which constitute the nucleons, neutrons और protons quarks से मिलके बने होते हैं. There are two type of quark. एक +2e/3 जैसा होता है और दूसरा -e/3. +2/3 means it is positively charged and charge is 2/3 of charge of electron. It is called up quark. और दूसरा जिसमें 1/3 of electron का charge होता है, it is negatively, that is called down quark. There are two type of quarks inside the there are two type of quark. Nucleus के अंदर proton और neutron quark से मिलके बने होते हैं. One proton has two positive quark +2/3 +2/3 and one negative quark -e/3. So total मिला के चार्ज हो गया +e के बराबर. एक प्रोटॉन के अंदर एक अप और तीसरा डाउन. This is one quark composition of proton. Neutron is one positive and two negative. So that becomes one positive, that is +2/3. Okay, some people joined little late. हम अभी discuss कर रहे हैं the third fundamental force. First was gravity, which is because of the mass. Second was the electromagnetic force, which is because of charge. These two we discussed last class. Gravitation का role है in the whole existence of the universe, planets के motion में, galaxies के motion में, and the electromagnetic force is required till the stability of nucleus, till the stability of atom. Electron and nucleus के बीच में there is an electrostatic attraction force. अब हम एटम के अंदर आ गए, we are now in the subatomic domain, in the nuclear domain. Nucleus के अंदर, by the common observation, it seems that nucleus should be very highly unstable, क्योंकि 10 to the power minus 15 मीटर के अंदर ही there are so many positively charged protons. Positive charge repel each other, neutron आपस में कोई force लगा नहीं सकते, so there must be a huge repulsive force, and due to that repulsive force, nucleus should break on its own, but actual में exactly opposite होता है, nucleus is the most stable. means nucleus के अंदर एक strong attractive force होता है which overcomes the repulsive force. This strong attractive force is called strong nuclear force. प्रोटॉन और न्यूट्रॉन आपस में एक्सचेंज होते रहते हैं with the help of quark exchange. One proton has two positive and one negative, and one neutron has one positive and two negative. ये थोड़ा मैं इसलिए बता रहा हूँ, ये अभी बुक में तो नहीं है. This we will see a small detail in class 12, just for your understanding कि एक्चुअल में attraction force आया कहाँ से. तो जो देखने में हमें सिर्फ एक पॉजिटिव और न्यूट्रल लग रहा था, इनफैक्ट बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव और बहुत सारे नेगेटिव है, क्योंकि प्रोटॉन 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 के फॉर्म में ना होके इट एग्जिस्ट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ क्वार्क. इसको बोलते हैं क्वार्क कंपोजिशन. एक के क्वार्क दूसरे के क्वार्क से एक्सचेंज होते रहते हैं. जैसे ये +2/3 -3/3 में एक्सचेंज हो गया तो क्या होगा, प्रोटॉन न्यूट्रॉन बन जाएगा, न्यूट्रॉन प्रोटॉन बन जाएगा, बट दोनों के नंबर हमेशा सेम रहते हैं. The total number of neutrons and total number of protons will always remain same. और ये जो अट्रैक्शन, ये जो एक्सचेंज हो रहा है, दिस एक्सचेंज इज नाउ facilitated by the intermediate particle, जिसको बोलते हैं पाई मेसॉन और पाइons. पाई मेसॉन इज नाउ द इंटरमीडिएट पार्टिकल. जो हम पहले ग्रेविटॉन पढ़ रहे थे इन द ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्स, फोटॉन था इन द केस ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्स. In the case of strong nuclear force, that exchange particle is pi meson. Pi meson एक क्वार्क को दूसरे क्वार्क में चेंज कर देता है. मतलब न्यूट्रॉन को प्रोटॉन में, प्रोटॉन को न्यूट्रॉन में. It keep on exchanging. So ये जितने भी particles यहाँ दिख रहे हैं, they all keep on exchanging. न्यूट्रॉन प्रोटॉन, प्रोटॉन के साथ, प्रोटॉन न्यूट्रॉन के साथ, न्यूट्रॉन प्रोटॉन के साथ, they keep on exchanging some particle. So उसमें बहुत सारे पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव चार्जेस आ जाते हैं. The overall force is attractive force. अब क्यों इसको assume किया correct, because due to this, by assuming this, the other explanation of nuclear forces and nuclear stability was successfully explained. Otherwise तो ये भी theory है. This is the theory given by Yukawa. Theory का मतलब something which has not been proven experimentally. Right? Understood? Exchange force. So ये कैसा force है? ये actual में exchange force है, जो हम पहले बात कर रहे थे कि all non-contact forces will be kind of exchange force. दोनों के बीच में कुछ ना कुछ exchange होते रहना चाहिए. Only then they will be able to exert force on each other. Clear? पहला था चार्ज मास की वजह से, दूसरा चार्ज की वजह से. जो हम डेली लाइफ में फील करते हैं, ये तो हमें डेली लाइफ में फील नहीं होगा, बिकॉज इट इज इनसाइड द न्यूक्लियस. न्यूक्लियस के अंदर से हमारा कोई लेना देना नहीं है, अदर देन द न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर एंड न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब्स, न्यूक्लियर एक्सप्लोजन. तो प्रॉपर्टीज क्या होगी इसकी? पहला, एज द नेम आल्सो सजेस्ट, इट इज द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट फोर्स इन नेचर. स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट फोर्स इन नेचर. अभी तक जो हमने लास्ट क्लास में पढ़ा था, एक ग्रेविटेशन जो वीकेस्ट था, दूसरा इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक which is quite stronger, 10 to the power 36 times stronger than the gravitation. It is strongest force in nature, about 10 raised to power 38 times stronger than 38 times stronger than gravitation, or 100 times stronger than electromagnetic force. Because this is 100 times stronger, इसलिए जो भी प्रोटॉन प्रोटॉन के बीच में इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक रिपल्सिव फोर्स लग रहा है stronger than 100 times stronger than electrostatic repulsive force. Right? Okay. Second, इसका कोई एक्सिस्टेंस न्यूक्लियस के बाहर नहीं होगा. Why? Because it is inside the nucleus between the neutrons and protons. So it is a short range force. It is a short range force. It exists only between the nucleons at a distance of 10 raised to power minus 15. अगर ये प्रोटॉन और न्यूट्रॉन बाहर निकल के आ जाए, न्यूक्लियस के बाहर आ जाएंगे, तो न्यूट्रॉन प्रोटॉन के बीच में ये फोर्स नहीं लगेगा. It is only inside the nucleus, so it is a short range force. Range will be 10 to the power minus 15 meter. कैसे लगते हैं ये एक दूसरे को एक्सचेंज करके? राइट? बेटा समझ आ रहा है? ये वैसे इन्फॉर्मेशन ही है, मतलब समझने वाला क्या है? दिस इज समथिंग न्यू फॉर यू, सो इट इज जस्ट अ फैक्ट. ये न्यूट्रॉन्स प्रोटॉन्स प्रोटॉन्स न्यूट्रॉन्स आपस में एक दूसरे में एक्सचेंज, बिकॉज एक्सचेंज होते हैं, सो इनमें नंबर ऑफ एक्सचेंज ऑन एन एवरेज इक्वली हो जाता है. सो इट डज नॉट डिपेंड अपॉन द चार्ज. इट इज चार्ज इंडिपेंडेंट. मतलब ये जितना न्यूट्रॉन न्यूट्रॉन में लगता है, जितना प्रोटॉन न्यूट्रॉन में होता है, उतना ही प्रोटॉन प्रोटॉन में. Yeah, just a sec. Right. So it is a very short range force, 10 to the power minus 15 meter, और 10 to the power minus 15 मीटर से अगर और पास आते हैं न्यूक्लियस के अंदर the protons and neutrons, then its nature changes. It become repulsive in nature. जब बहुत पास आएंगे, then again it start repelling each other. Third property is that it is attractive. It is a strong attractive force, but becomes repulsive if the nucleus comes very closer. Becomes repulsive at a distance less than 0.8 Fermi. Less than 0.8 Fermi. This is the okay. So वैसे attractive force है usual situation में, but when the neutrons and protons come very close, then it become a strong repulsive force. Right. Fourth property, it is charge independent. जितना प्रोटॉन प्रोटॉन के बीच में लगेगा, उतना ही प्रोटॉन न्यूट्रॉन के बीच में लगेगा, उतना ही न्यूट्रॉन न्यूट्रॉन के बीच में लगेगा. It is charge independent force. Force acting between neutron neutron, force acting between proton proton, and force acting between proton neutron is same. Right? ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? Because it is exchange only. This is exchange, और exchange में फर्क नहीं पड़ता, सारे क्वार्क के फॉर्म में फ्री हो गए. There is no positive and no negative charge. Plus इसका फॉर्मूला, देयर इज नो फिक्स फॉर्मूला. इट डज नॉट डिपेंड अपॉन वन सिंगल. जैसे जैसे डिस्टेंस कम होती जाएगी, वैसे वैसे फोर्स की वैल्यू, फोर्स का मैग्नीट्यूड भी चेंज हो जाएगा. सो इट डज नॉट फॉलो द इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ, जैसे कि बाकी दोनों में था इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू आर स्क्वायर. इट डज नॉट फॉलो द इनवर्स स्क्वायर लॉ. इसके लिए 1/r⁴ से लेके r⁴ तक कुछ भी हो सकता है, depending upon the distance. So there is no fixed formula, first thing, and it increases and decreases much rapidly than the electrostatic force. Okay, next is it is non-conservative, क्योंकि ये पाथ पे डिपेंड करेगा आसपास वालों से ही केवल. It is non-conservative, non-central, किसी एक डायरेक्शन में नहीं, हर एक डायरेक्शन में, नॉन सेंट्रल एंड नॉन कॉन्टैक्ट फोर्स. non-conservative, non-central and non-contact force. So non-conservative means path पे depend करेगा work done obviously because it is exchange. Exchange केवल आसपास वालों से ही हो सकता है. Non-central, it is in all the direction, not just along the line joining the two particle. And non-contact, again, it is not touching. One neutron is not touching another proton or neutron. It is exchanging the particle in between. So next property is that it is due to the exchange of particle called pi boson. It is due to the exchange of particle called pi boson. अब pi boson केवल एक नहीं होते, बहुत सारे particles होते हैं. The whole particle physics. It is due to the exchange of particle called pi boson. Pi positive, pi negative, pi neutral, pions, muons. There are different type of particle, but जो quark के बीच में exchange होता है, that is pi boson, right? Example, I mean, how do we justify that there is such a kind of force existing? पहला reason तो ये है क्योंकि repulsion को positive charges के repulsion को उसने overcome कर लिया. That is the first proof. Second proof is that even if we try to modify the structure of nucleus, थोड़ा बहुत भी, there is a huge repulsive force. There is a huge force which creates a lot of energy used in nuclear explosion and nuclear reactors. Right? Okay. That is the third fundamental force. Fourth fundamental force is weak nuclear force. Nucleus के अंदर ही, but again in the unstable particle. न्यूट्रॉन प्रोटॉन तो हमेशा रहते हैं. न्यूट्रॉन प्रोटॉन के अलावा कुछ पार्टिकल ट्रांजिएंट टाइम के लिए न्यूक्लियस के अंदर बनते रहते हैं. आपने सुना होगा रेडियो एक्टिविटी, शायद अनस्टेबल न्यूक्लियस के अंदर से कुछ रेडिएशंस निकलते रहते हैं. वो क्यों निकलते हैं? because there is some unstable alpha and beta particles keep on emitting because of nuclear reaction, because of the radioactivity process. So weak nuclear force क्या होता है? The attraction force acting between the unstable particles inside the nucleus. It is also attractive in nature. The attraction force acting between the unstable particles inside the nucleus. ये आपके फर्स्ट चैप्टर का लास्ट पार्ट है. दिस इज ओनली द पार्ट व्हिच इज आस्क्ड इन द एग्जाम. बाकी सब में साइंटिस्ट का नाम है, साइंटिस्ट की कहानी है. attraction force acting between the unstable particles inside the nucleus. एक स्टेबल और एक अनस्टेबल भी होगा, उसमें भी वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स लगेगा. लाइक न्यूट्रिनोज, नाम शायद नहीं सुना होगा आपने. न्यूट्रिनो क्या होता है? दिस इज अ कॉस्मिक पार्टिकल. किसी भी स्टार पे जब कोई भी सडनली कोई एनर्जी एक्सप्लोजन होता है, लाइक वोल्केनिक इरप्शन टाइप, then there is a electron beam, there is a energy particles are emitted, which is called neutrinos, gamma photons. So neutrino is a very strong attractive strong energy particle which does not have mass, does not have charge, but it has a very high penetration power. Neutrino, beta particles, etc. So ये अनस्टेबल पार्टिकल केवल थोड़ी देर के लिए बनते हैं और फिर न्यूक्लियस से बाहर निकल जाते हैं. अट्रैक्शन फोर्स एक्टिंग विद अनस्टेबल पार्टिकल्स इनसाइड द न्यूक्लियस इज कॉल्ड वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स. अब अगर एक न्यूट्रॉन यानी एक क्वार्क और एक न्यूट्रिनो के बीच में भी जो लगेगा, दैट विल आल्सो बी अ वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स. इसका नाम वीक है लेकिन ये ग्रेविटेशन से स्ट्रॉन्गर है. ये वीक है केवल इन कंपैरिजन टू द स्ट्रॉन्ग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स. राइट. सो स्ट्रॉन्ग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स न्यूट्रॉन्स प्रोटॉन्स के बीच में, वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स इज इन बिटवीन द अनस्टेबल पार्टिकल्स. करेक्ट. अब वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स इज अगेन इट इज इनसाइड द न्यूक्लियस. न्यूक्लियस के काफी अंदर होंगे, इन द inside the nucleus, so its range will be even shorter than the even shorter than the strong nuclear force, right? So properties of weak nuclear force. First, it is it is stronger than gravitation, and it is 10 to the power 25 times stronger than gravitation. बाकी सबसे weak हो गया, 10 to the power 25 times stronger than gravitation. Gravity सबसे weakest force है, और strong nuclear forces सबसे ज्यादा strong force. It is 10 to the power 25 times stronger than gravitational force, right? And it is the shortest range force, क्योंकि ये न्यूक्लियस के भी अंदर के पार्टिकल्स में लगता है. दिस रेंज इज इवन स्मॉलर देन 10 to the power minus 15 of the order of 10 to the power minus 16. The rest of the property is like similar to weak nuclear force. It is non-conservative, non-central, and non-contact force. Non-conservative, non-central, and non-contact force. Right? Again, it does not follow any law. There is no fixed formula for it. There is no fixed formula for it. Correct. Now, it will also be exchange particle. Nucleus के अंदर ये exchange करते हैं, and the exchange particle responsible for this is called boson. The Higgs boson, अगर आपने नाम सुना हो, Big Bang Theory में अक्सर use होता है, and Big Bang Theory, the comedy serial, the series. Yes, so it is due to the exchange of particle called boson. डिटेल में अपने सिलेबस में है नहीं, so will not give much time to this. अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए थोड़ा सा कुछ हिग्स बोसॉन, जैसे बोस आइंस्टाइन कंडेंसेट वाला जो सीन होता है, the same Mr. Bose. So boson is supposed to be a very high energetic particle. Higgs boson is also called God particle. God particle का मतलब the one which created the Big Bang. It is believed, it is a theory. No experiment have been performed yet to verify or to create another Big Bang. Right? So ये थोड़ी सी बकवास है, ये हम करते हैं higher level पे in the physics called as particle physics and quantum physics. नए नए तरह के possible particle interaction. So there is another class called baryon and leptons, pions. So I think that's not required. We can leave that part. हमें सिर्फ मतलब था समझने में कि कितने तरह के इंटरेक्शन होते हैं, हाउ मेनी टाइप ऑफ पॉसिबल फोर्सेस आर देयर. So there are four fundamental forces. Any force that we see in physics will be either gravitational force in nature. It will be either electromagnetic force because the charges, or it may be nucleus के अंदर है तो strong nuclear होगा या फिर weak nuclear force होगा. These are the four possible kind of interaction. अब एक तो इनकी रेंज पे और दूसरा इनकी स्ट्रेंथ पे. सो सबसे ज्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग कौन सा फोर्स हुआ? द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट फोर्स इज स्ट्रॉन्ग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स. स्ट्रॉन्ग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स इज स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट देन इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्स. इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक से 100 टाइम्स स्ट्रॉन्गर था स्ट्रॉन्ग न्यूक्लियर फोर्स. देन वीक न्यूक्लियर फोर्स, and the weakest force is gravitational force. Weakest force is gravitational force. On the scale of 1, so if gravitational force is 1, weak nuclear force is 10 to the power 25 times ratio, and this is 10 to the power 36 times. Strong nuclear force is 10 to the power 38 times. Right? Okay, and the range wise, the shortest range force is weak nuclear force, and the longest range force is electromagnetic and gravitation, both. Right. So this was the only part which is relevant from the very first chapter. कुछ कुछ बकवास जैसे क्वेश्चन है that you can go through if you want, otherwise you can leave it. I mean, like there are some nonsense type questions. Though India has a large base in science and technology, which is fast expanding, it is still a long way from realizing its potential of becoming a world leader in science. Name some important factors which, in your view, have hindered the advancement of science in India. That's a question from NCRT, by the way. So that's not a science question. It's leave it. If you want, you can go through it and you can debate about it, but it's not required for the physics. For your interest, you can go through it. Okay. So in the first chapter, we understood that science is some peculiar subject, some special subject because of the ability to verify the knowledge by the experiment. And if you want to do experiment, if you want to do experiment, we have to do some measurement also, and we have to know the quantities on which we are going to measure. Because unless we do a mathematical calculation or measurement and we give some result, there is no valid experiment. No valid experiment means there will not be validity of your proof unless you are able to give a formula or mathematical calculation or the final result. So the next chapter is units and measurement. It gives about the fundamental quantities and how the physics was basically developed, how the physics have been categorized into different quantities like force, energy, momentum, and different physical quantities. How can we define or how can we predict a system of unit and how to measure it? Right. So physics requires an exact result, a precise result, and to get the precise result, we have to do the measurement, and that measurement should be accurate enough. So, in this particular chapter, which some of you have done already in class 9 in ICSC, right? So, we what we want to do here is like we want to categorize the physics measurement part. Like, if you want to talk about any force, then to know the force, which are the basic fundamental quantities that we are supposed to know, or to determine or to depict any system, what are the fundamental system, fundamental properties that we should look for. So, as first we saw the fundamental forces because we are familiar with forces. Now we'll see the fundamental quantities. Fundamental quantities means in physics, whenever we have to measure something or when we have to do the experiment, the quantities that we will be using or we will be measuring will be either one of these or derived from one of these. Fundamental का मतलब the most basic and those which are not related to each other, right? So the definition will be fundamental quantities, the physical quantities which are independent of each other and not cannot be defined in terms of other. They are fundamental quantities. Now there are 7 fundamental quantities, and the remaining all the other quantities have been derived by using some of them or few of them multiple times. So fundamental quantities, the physical quantities which are independent of each other, not related. But new theories, the new theories like theory of everything, these string theory, they are trying to relate all these quantities together with the help of string concept. Physical quantities which are independent of each other are called fundamental quantities. So there are 7 fundamental quantities, and the remaining all the other quantities will be derived quantities from by using these 7 are called fundamental quantities. Fundamental का मतलब ये होता है most basic. Most basic means they are not related with each other. So there are 7 fundamental quantities. और फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज को मेजर करने के लिए हमें एक फंडामेंटल यूनिट सिस्टम भी चाहिए. So there are some unit system assumed or acknowledged for these 7 quantities. Different part of the world there was different unit. Now the common system of unit have been adopted by uh, common consensus that there should be a unified system of measurement that's called standard system. So there are 7 quantities. Which are those? First one is length, mass, length, time, temperature, electric current, luminous intensity. Luminous intensity is the intensity of light, like some bulb has less intensity. And seventh is amount of substance. So these 7 fundamental quantities are there और इनको use करके हम बाकी quantities को आपस में relate करते हैं. These are the 7 fundamental quantities. They are supposed to be not related to each other. Like temperature has nothing to do with length, length has nothing to do with mass, and so on. ये 7 fundamental quantities हैं, and to measure them, there is a standard unit. Standard unit system is required so that the same measurement can be done in the different part of world. That standard unit is called SI unit. SI is system be international. That standard unit is required. Mass is measured in kilogram, kg as a standard system of unit. Length is used in meter. Small m. Time is used in second, measured in second. Temperature is measured in Kelvin, the standard unit. Electric current is measured in ampere, capital A. Luminous intensity is measured in candela, CD. And amount of substance is measured in mole. This is the standard unit system, SI unit that we have used for the measurement, but different part like the mass can be used in pound also, or it is gram also, quintal also, ton also, depending upon the different part of the world. So that's why there is another formula that is associated with them called as dimensional formula. Dimensional formula tells how many times that fundamental quantity is used, and rather which fundamental quantity have been used to derive a new quantity. Dimensional formula is independent of the unit system. आप किसी भी system में measure करो mass को kilogram, gram, quintal, ton, it will be always represented by the capital M. All standard, all the dimensions are given in the big bracket. Length is L, time is T, temperature is K, ampere is A, candela CD, and amount of substance mole. We want how do we define dimensional formula? Dimensional formula is the formula associated with the fundamental quantities which represent how many times that fundamental quantity has been used to derive a certain quantity. What does that mean? Suppose अगर हम area calculate करें, area is length into breadth. So the length is used twice. That means the dimension of length in area is 2. So that's how somehow we will associate with unit system. यूनिट सिस्टम से डायमेंशन फॉर्मूला कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं एंड वाइस वर्सा. डायमेंशन फॉर्मूला अगर हमें पता है किसी भी सिस्टम का, किसी भी क्वांटिटी का, तो हम उसका यूनिट सिस्टम लिख सकते हैं. Now one thing that is little strange here, mass and amount of substance. अगर हम mass की definition पूछे like what is mass, usually we define that amount of matter present in a body. Amount of matter present in a body is called amount of substance, but here amount of substance is a separate fundamental quantity. It is not the mass. Why is that so? Anybody? My question is कि mass क्या होता है? Mass is the amount of substance present in a body or amount of matter present in a body. But here we can see that there is another fundamental quantity by the name of uh, amount of substance.
So mole is a specific number of uh, like it's a specific number of quantity. Like 1 mole can represent a specific number which is given.
So 1 kg also represent a specific amount. I mean, like, what's the difference? The question here is like,
A mole can be used like a dozen.
no, but why do we require a new? Why do we require a new quantity when we already have this mass? I mean, we can measure in kg. Why do we require mole? I think you are not getting my question. Anyone? Any other thought on this? Why are we using two different type of mass? One is just mass, another we wrote as the amount of substance. What's the difference? Difference is that this first mass, जो first number पे लिखा हुआ है, that mass is not microscopic. Microscopic means like 1 kg of water, 1 kg of water, 1 kg of cotton, or 1 kg of stone. This is some stone, 1 kg stone. They all have same mass, yes, but they do not have same amount of substance. Obviously, when we say amount of substance is microscopic property or microscopic mass. We don't bother how much or whatever the body is. Amount of substance is a microscopic property. Microscopic means we go to the level of atom or ion. We count that how many atoms, how many ions are there. This is the microscopic property, and that is why inside this 1 kg iron, 1 kg water, 1 kg stone, there is a different amount of substance, though they have same mass. मास इज मैक्रोस्कोपिक और बल्क प्रॉपर्टी जो ऊपर से देखने पे लगती है. मैक्रोस्कोपिक प्रॉपर्टी में फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि अंदर क्या है और कितना है. The overall mass is 1 kg, that means it is 1 kg. Amount of substance depends upon the nature of material. माइक्रोस्कोपिक प्रॉपर्टी डिपेंड करेगी कि वो कौन सा मटेरियल है. It depends upon the nature of material, while the mass does not depend. Correct? You got it? Understood the difference?
Yes, sir.
मैक्रोस्कोपिक मतलब ऊपर ऊपर से देख रहे हैं, अंदर क्या है पता नहीं, फर्क भी नहीं पड़ता. They have exactly same mass, but when we say the amount of substance, we have to go at the microscopic level, and we have to count the number of atoms, number of ions present. Mass 1 kg, length is 1 meter. So these are the standard units. When we say the unit system, I just directly wrote the SI unit system, but there are two more unit system which is even used today. The unit system for measurement. So first three quantities like length, mass, and time. This decide this. So there are three system of unit. MK system, when length is measured in meter, mass is measured in kg, and time is measured in second. When the length is measured in centimeter, mass is measured in gram, and time is measured in second. That's called CJ system. Length is in foot, mass is in pound, and time is in second. So these are the three system of unit: MKS system, CGS system, and FPS system. This MKS system is assumed by this meeting in Serbia, France. It has been considered as the SI system of unit standard system. The international MKS system has been adopted. But still we can use, or some part of the world uses, CGS system or FPS system for the different measurement. For example, LBS. Some of the product in the market, the mass is in LBS, that is a foot pound second system. And likewise, miles, likewise horsepower. Horsepower is used for the engine capacity, that is also because of the FPS unit system. Standard system of unit is MKS. It was decided in a meeting that all the fundamental quantities, standard quantities, should be measured in MKS. We can interconvert from one into another. We can interconvert from one into another, but otherwise the standard measurement should be in MKS, applicable in all the countries. Right. Standard system के अलावा, so these are the 7 fundamental quantities. When we have to measure or when we have to define any other quantities, those physical quantities will be derived by either one of them or few of them. These are the 7 fundamental quantities. बाकी सारी quantities जो हम बनाते हैं, all the other quantities are called derived quantities. Derived quantities और उनके फिर derived units. Like fundamental quantities have fundamental standard unit. Derived quantities are the physical quantities which are which are derived by using two or more fundamental quantities are called derived quantities, right? Derived quantities, the physical quantities which are derived from two or more fundamental quantities. Right. Example, acceleration, force, energy, and so on. So these are not the fundamental, but they are related to the fundamental quantities. Force is not a fundamental quantity, energy is not a fundamental quantity, velocity is not a fundamental quantity, but they have been derived by using the fundamental. So all the derived quantities will have a derived unit in terms of the fundamental quantities unit or fundamental unit system. 7 फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज है और उनके अलावा बहुत सारी हम क्वांटिटीज को इनसे आपस में डिराइव करके बना सकते हैं, लाइक वेलोसिटी. So if we say velocity is derived by using the displacement upon time. Displacement is length and time is another fundamental quantity. So this velocity dimension wise, length की dimension है L और time की dimension है D. So velocity dimension we will write as LT minus 1. Physical quantities can be either fundamental or derived. Derived quantities में fundamental quantities कई बार use होंगी. Like here, length is used one time and time is used -1. So these powers are called dimensions. So it can be written as m to the power 0, l raised to power 1, and t raised to power -1. The dimension of mass in velocity is 0. Dimension of length is +1 and dimension of time is -1. Another example, let's say if we take density. Density is defined as mass upon volume. And volume is, suppose अगर cuboid है तो L into B into H, अगर cube है तो L cube. Density is mass upon L cube. If it is a cube of side length L, then इसके dimension निकालोगे, so density dimension is dimension of mass और नीचे length is used 3 times, so it will become ml minus 3. So you can see हम किसी भी derived quantity का dimension calculate कर सकते हैं अगर हमें उसका formula पता हो in terms of the fundamental quantities. in terms of the basic fundamental quantities, if we know the dimension formula, then we can use its dimension. और एक बार dimension हो गया तो from the dimension we can calculate its SI unit also. The standard unit for mass is kg and length is meter, so kg per meter cube. kg per meter cube will be the SI unit for this for the density measurement. Similarly here, the velocity SI unit will be length. Length unit is meter and time unit is second. So you can see that these are the basic things that we already know. But yes, there are some application of dimension called as dimension analysis, which is used by Newton also to derive more than 200 formula. Newton ने 600 से ज़्यादा theories दी है research, and those formulas are derived, and many of them are derived by using the dimensional approach. So dimension को use करके dimension को use करके we can find out the different we have the different applications. So dimension is useful, and we will see that how it is used for other quantities. अब अभी जितने हमने फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज देखी है, all 7 quantities, there are some missing in this, like because जैसे अगर हमें measure करना है, let's say angular velocity का मतलब होता है angle covered per unit time. Now angle covered is not used in not defined in the fundamental quantities. Angle, plane angle and solid angle, there are two type of angles, and those are called supplementary quantities. Or supplementary. Why they are called supplementary? Why they have not been considered in the fundamental quantities? Supplementary quantities are two. First is plane angle and second one is solid angle. Plane angle denoted by theta. जिसको हम normally angle बोलते हैं. 7 fundamental quantities: mass, length, time, temperature, current, luminous intensity and the amount of substance. इसके अलावा दो और क्वांटिटीज हैं जो हमें चाहिए होती है मेजरमेंट करने के लिए, कैलकुलेशन करने के लिए, यूजुअली इन द रोटेशन और इन द सर्कुलर मोशन. Why it is not considered the fundamental quantities? The reason is because it is not entirely independent. जैसे जब हम एंगल की बात करते हैं, सपोज एंगल थीटा, an angle is formed by joining the ends of an arc. किसी भी सर्कुलर आर्क्स के एंड को ज्वाइन करने पे टू द सेंटर, द एंगल फॉर्म्ड. सो दिस इज सेंटर. आर्क की लेंथ है सपोज s, दिस इज द लेंथ ऑफ आर्क, एंड द रेडियस ऑफ दिस आर्क इज. So the definition of plane angle is, or the angle is defined as the angle plane, जिसको हम angle बोलते हैं, that is actually the plane angle only. The plane angle is defined as the ratio of arc length to the radius. Ratio of arc length to the radius. That's the definition of the plane angle. अब ये जो definition है, इसके हिसाब से क्या है, ये एक arc की length और नीचे radius. Radius is also the length only. Radius will also be measured in length. So this is not entirely independent. इसमें ऊपर भी length है, नीचे भी length है. So that's why it is not considered in the fundamental quantity. According to this formula, if we find out its dimension or if we find out its unit, dimension क्या होगी, ऊपर arc length which is also L, नीचे radius is also in length only, so it will become 0. सारे cancel हो जाएंगे, L also cancel, so M is also not there, L is also not there, T is also not there. The fundamental quantity of angle is not depending upon the any quantity, neither mass nor length nor time, and that is why it is a dimensionless quantity. Since it is a dimensionless and it is not independent, it is a ratio of two lengths. That's why it is considered not to be a fundamental quantity. It is a supplementary quantity or sub-fundamental quantity, you can say. अब ये डायमेंशनल ऐसा, लेकिन हम कुछ यूनिट तो यूज करते हैं एंगल के लिए. वी हैव यूज इन दी junior classes like these degree and something radian. So there are other units we use because it is obviously one of the quantity that is required for measurement. So we cannot leave the unit. So that's why a unit has been adopted, or by convention the unit has been taken as radian. जो हम यूज करते थे अभी तक, that is not the standard unit. Standard unit for plane angle is radian. हम यूज कर रहे थे 30 डिग्री 60 डिग्री. दैट इज नॉट द स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट. स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट इज रेडियन. स्टैंडर्ड का मतलब क्या हुआ, जब आप लेंथ को, आर्क लेंथ को मीटर में लोगे, रेडियस को मीटर में लोगे, व्हेन बोथ द लेंथ आर measured in meter, then the ratio of arc length to the radius will be defined in radians. Standard unit for the angle, जो एंगल हम बनाते हैं normally usually in the plane, that is the plane angle only. प्लेन एंगल की यूनिट क्या होती है, रेडियन. हम अभी तक यूज करते थे डिग्रीज. 60 डिग्री परपेंडिकुलर है तो 90 डिग्री. डिग्री इज नॉट द स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट. सो नाउ वी हैव टू फाइंड आउट द रिलेशन बिटवीन डिग्री एंड रेडियन. बेटा यहाँ तक समझ आ रहा है? ये थोड़ा सा स्टार्टिंग का पार्ट लिटिल लिटिल information based, not much of physics is there, more like information, more like data. पहले हमने पढ़ा था 4 तरह के फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस होते हैं. देन वी सॉ देयर आर 7 टाइप ऑफ फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज. फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज को यूज करके हम नई क्वांटिटीज बनाते हैं, और उन क्वांटिटीज की यूनिट्स को भी हम सिमिलर मेथड से कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं. नाउ वी आर सीइंग दैट all those 7 fundamental quantities are not sufficient. There are few more quantities that those are required for the measurement. जैसे एंगल कवर करने के लिए, एंगुलर वेलोसिटी के लिए, एंगुलर एक्सेलरेशन के लिए, we have to use the radians. We have to use the angle, and angle is defined as arc length to the radius, right? So the ratio of arc length to radius become dimensionless. Standard unit is radian. अभी हमें डिग्री जो हम भी तक यूज करते थे, we have to find the relation between degree and radian. ये सब इंफॉर्मेटिव है. इट्स नॉट मच ऑफ द फिजिक्स. फिजिक्स में थोड़े हम कॉन्सेप्ट अप्लाई करेंगे, बट वहां पर हमें इन सबकी जरूरत पड़ेगी. दैट्स व्हाई वी आर यूजिंग these fundamental basic chapters. You cannot skip it. Some school and teacher starts from the motion, but you should know that how to change the degree into radian. So we'll prove this. अभी जो आर्क लिया था, सपोज आर्क की जगह पे हम पूरा का पूरा सर्कल ले लेते हैं. If we consider this whole circle, or angle formed at the center of circle, this we already know in terms of degree, that this is 360 degree in terms of degree. Now we have to convert this into radian. Angle formed at the center of circle. Angle formed at the center of a circle. It's not arc anymore. This is a complete circle. It will be the arc length. Arc length हो जाएगी circumference के बराबर, divided by radius. Radius is r. Right? So this angle is how much? It is 2 pi in terms of radians. सर्कल के सेंटर पे जो एंगल बनता है रेडियन, that is 2 pi radian. And since we already know the value of this angle in terms of degree, that is 360 degree. Angle formed at the center is 360 degrees, which came out to be 2 pi radian. So pi radian is 180 degree. Yes, beta, any doubt? इस पाई का मतलब भाई 3.14 है. So 3.14 radian is equal to 180 degree. In fact, the value of pi was also determined by the same, the ratio of circumference to diameter. सर्कमफ्रेंस हो गया 2 पाई आर, डायमीटर हो गया 2 आर, दोनों का रेशियो निकालोगे तो वो पाई के इक्वल आ जाएगा. Pi radian is 180 degree. That's the relation between degree and radian. So 1 degree को अगर हमें radian में change करना है, this will be pi by 180 radian. 1 degree is pi by 180 radian. जब भी हम किसी भी question में calculation के लिए angle को use करेंगे, if we have to use the angle for calculation, we need to first convert it into the standard unit, and that standard unit is radian. डिग्री में हम डायरेक्ट कैलकुलेशन के लिए थीटा या एंगल को यूज नहीं कर सकते. वी नीड टू कन्वर्ट दैट इनटू रेडियन फर्स्ट. ओनली देन वी कैन कैलकुलेट. राइट.
Yes, sir.
So suppose if you want to convert 60 degree in radian, 60 डिग्री को रेडियन में करोगे तो 60 मल्टीप्लाई बाई पाई बाई 180, that becomes pi by 3. 60 degree is pi by 3, 45 degree is pi by 4. So जैसे sin 60 लिखते थे, अब हम उसको sin pi by 3 लिखेंगे. 90 degree is pi by 2. So sin 90 is 1. Now we will write sin pi by 2 is equal to 1. Standard unit for the angle is radian. So degree and radian, these are the two commonly used unit. But अगर आपने जीपीएस के कोऑर्डिनेट देखे हो या फिर सन का मूवमेंट जो हम मेजर करते हैं द क्लॉक, देयर आर टू स्मॉलर यूनिट कॉल्ड एज मिनट, बट उसको एक्चुअल में बोलना चाहिए आर्क मिनट, रिप्रेजेंटेड बाय अ सिंगल डैश. दिस इज द स्मॉलर यूनिट जो जीपीएस में एग्जैक्टली लोकेशन आइडेंटिफाई करने के लिए कुछ 72 डिग्री 30 मिनट एंड 60 सेकंड लाइक दैट. 1 degree is 60 minute. This is not exactly minute. This should be called as arc minute completely. But हम इसको loosely बोल देते हैं that it is degree. One minute angle. 1 minute is 1 by 60 degree. अब इसका लेना देना क्या है, वो definition कहाँ से है इसके minute की? When sun is at the average distance from the earth, the angle covered by sun around the earth, that's called 1 arc minute. Average distance पे जब sun होता है अर्थ से, then the distance, the angle covered in 1 minute is defined as arc minute. Right, so it is again some hypothetical as such. This is a theoretical term. हम degree is again a bigger unit. अगर हमें छोटे angle को measure करना हो, then degree and radians are quite big. So that's why we use the small unit system, and that is called arc minute or minute. इससे भी छोटा चाहिए हो अगर, so that is called arc second. Arc second is again even a smaller unit, arc second, double dash, or simply second by representing by the double dash. 1 minute has 60 seconds, so 1 arc minute is 60 arc second, और यहाँ से हम 1 arc second को minute में change कर लेंगे, 1 by 60 minute. मिनट सॉरी डिग्री, मिनट को हम अगर डिग्री में चेंज करते हैं तो ये 1 by 60 डिग्री आ जाएगा, और डिग्री को रेडियन में चेंज करना है अगर तो 1/3600. डिग्री को रेडियन में करोगे तो पाई बाई 180 आ गया, पाई बाई 180 रेडियन. दिस इज द कन्वर्जन ऑफ 1 सेकेंड इनटू रेडियन. एक मिनट इज 1 आर्क मिनट इज 60 आर्क सेकेंड. यहाँ से 1 आर्क सेकेंड की वैल्यू निकालेंगे, 1 आर्क सेकेंड को मिनट में, मिनट को डिग्री में, और डिग्री को फिर रेडियन में चेंज कर लेंगे. Why converted into radian? Because this will be used in the question. जैसे distant planet या distant stars की distance calculate करने के लिए we use this arc length or arc second. Fundamental quantities में ही है because we are using them. We are using them for the position of the stars, for the constellation position. In on Earth also in the GPS navigation we require the exact position coordinate in terms of latitude and longitude, which is again precisely defined in the minutes and then further subdivided into seconds so that you can exactly get to the location where you want to go. Okay, so that was the first supplementary angle, plane angle. दूसरा, second supplementary angle is called solid angle. Second supplementary quantity is solid angle, denoted by that omega symbol, जो cone का symbol होता है. So this is the angle formed by an area at certain point. The angle formed by an area at a certain point is called solid angle. पहले क्या था, केवल आर्क थी. अभी this is a whole area. Some piece of area, maybe suppose disk or some spherical part. इसको सेंटर से हर एक डायरेक्शन से ज्वाइन करने पे this will become like a cone kind of thing, hollow cone you can say. The angle formed by this area at this vertex or at this radius, that angle is defined as solid angle. तो ये जो एंगल बन रहा है ये किसी एक पर्टिकुलर लाइन में, एक प्लेन में नहीं बन रहा है, ये कुछ 3D में बन रहा है ऐसे, like this. This is a 3-dimensional angle because this is formed by the whole area. All the boundary points joined there. This forms an angle just like the mouth of a ice cream cone. The angle formed at the vertex here is defined as solid angle. और इस solid angle को हम लिखते हैं as area divided by radius square. Solid angle is the ratio of the area to the square of the radius where this is formed. Solid angle is A divided by R square. R is the equidistant, R is the radius at that point. So area के सारे points को हर एक direction से join करने पे, for an area, if we join all the points on the circumference to the center, the angle formed at the center is called solid angle. And that solid angle again, तो ये यहाँ पर है solid angle. This is like a 3-dimensional thing. Area is meter square, area is meter square, radius is meter square. Again, so if you calculate the dimension, area is L square, radius square is L square, this will be gone. So again, there is no dimension of solid angle. M0, L0 and T0. This is also a dimensionless quantity. प्लेन एंगल में था आर्क लेंथ टू द रेडियस, सॉलिड एंगल का रेशियो, सॉलिड एंगल की डेफिनेशन है एरिया टू द रेडियस स्क्वायर. बेटा कुछ डाउट हो तो पूछ लेना. दिस इज लाइक मोर इंफॉर्मेटिव स्टफ. 7 फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज यूज करते हैं मेजरमेंट के लिए या किसी भी क्वांटिटी को डिफाइन करने के लिए, एंड देयर आर 2 सप्लीमेंट्री क्वांटिटी, प्लेन एंगल एंड सॉलिड एंगल. प्लेन एंगल इज आर्क लेंथ टू रेडियस, सॉलिड एंगल इज एरिया टू द रेडियस स्क्वायर. इसमें भी ऊपर मीटर स्क्वायर नीचे मीटर स्क्वायर कैंसिल, तो लॉजिकली देयर शुड नॉट बी यूनिट आल्सो, बट द एसआई यूनिट, standard unit of solid angle, is again assumed as taken as by convention steradian. Short form में ST and RAD. SI unit is steradian. And there is no other unit we use for steradian only, क्योंकि इतना commonly use नहीं होता. ये कहाँ पे यूज होता है जो हमारे सिलेबस में नहीं है, दैट पार्ट ऑफ फिजिक्स वी डोंट यूज इन द ल्यूमिनस इंटेंसिटी कैंडेला. किसी बल्ब का जो शेप होता है, सम आर टेपर्ड, सम आर सर्कुलर, वो उसके सॉलिड एंगल के हिसाब से डिसाइड होता है कि कितनी लाइट किस डायरेक्शन में, दैट इंटेंसिटी विल बी कमिंग आउट फ्रॉम दैट बल्ब और फ्रॉम दैट लाइट सोर्स. ओके, सो जैसे हमने वहां पे एक सर्कल लिया था, यहाँ पे क्या लेना चाहिए, देयर वी विल कंसीडर अ स्फीयर. The total solid angle formed at the center of sphere. total solid angle at the center of sphere. Right, so this is the sphere. इसके center पे जो total angle बनेगा, it will be like a football 3-dimensional angle. It is not just the circle. Circle पे तो वो 2 pi. This angle will be total area divided by radius square. Area is a, radius square is r square. So area कितना होगा किसी भी sphere के लिए? Sphere का total surface area is 4 pi r square divided by r square gone. So the total angle at the center of any solid sphere is 4 pi steradian. या किसी भी एक point पे जो total solid angle बनेगा covering from all the direction, that will be 4 pi steradian. At any point the total plane angle formed is 2 pi or 360 degree. At any point the total solid angle that is covering from all direction, from top, from bottom, from left, from right, that will be 4 pi steradian. Right, so total angle ये कैसे, this will be like a 3D angle. अगर हम इसका हेमिस्फीयर पार्ट लेते हैं, केवल only the हेमिस्फीयर के अंदर का जो एरिया, जो एंगल बनेगा, that will be only half of this football. So inside angle will be 2 pi steradian. If we consider a cube, the total angle formed at the center of hemisphere is 2 pi steradian. Total angle formed at the center of sphere is 4 pi steradian. If we consider a cube, के सेंटर पे जो एंगल बन रहा होगा वो हर एक डायरेक्शन से बन रहा है, that is again a solid angle, and that solid angle is covering from all the direction. Total angle at the center is again 4 pi steradian. जब चारों तरफ से कवर करेंगे, then the total angle will become 4 pi. Now question is, what is the solid angle formed by each face? Solid angle formed by each face of this cube at the center. Solid angle formed by each face at the center. How much? कितने faces होते हैं totals cube में? How many faces are there? 6.
6 faces.
6 faces. So if we join this face, one such face, the total angle that it has made, because ये football चारों तरफ से join करने पे बनेगा, that will be a symmetrical shape. The angle formed by one such face is 4 pi by 6 steradian or 2 pi by 3. Solid angle at the center of hemisphere. So आज की क्लास में हमने 7 fundamental unit पढ़ी and solid angle at the center of cube and 2 supplementary quantities. इस fundamental quantities की जो unit है, that unit is also defined specifically. Specifically means like what is the exact 1 meter. So in in the 1960, the General Conference of Weight and Measurement, the standard value of 1 meter, 1 kilogram, 1 second is defined, which is written in your respective book in NCERT also. That is never asked in the exam. So I'll also skip it. If you want, you can read it. If you want, you can read the standard value of what is exactly 1 meter. Most of the time, it is a definition given as like a platinum iridium alloy cylinder kept in the prototype cylinder kept in the International Bureau of Weight and Measurement in Sevilla near France, near Paris. That exact cylinder उसके dimensions पे लिखी होती है book में, but that you don't need to learn. एक standard 1 kilogram का platinum iridium का कुछ cylinder बनाया था, that mass is 1 kg. The other 1 kg that we use for measurement should be replicated from there. Similarly, 1 meter को हम light के terms में भी define कर सकते हैं. The distance traveled by light in a time of 1/299792458 of a second, or So something like that. So these all the standard unit, they have been defined by choosing some standard. किसी के लिए specific geometry का standard रखा हुआ है, किसी के लिए. So all those standard definition is never asked in any decent school, because school doesn't test your memory in physics at least. But if you want and your school ask, you can read all these 7 quantities definition from the NCERT or from your Newton book, whichever book you are having. राइट, सो अभी हमने पढ़ा फंडामेंटल क्वांटिटीज कौन सी होती हैं, उनकी स्टैंडर्ड यूनिट क्या है, और उनसे हम डिराइव्ड क्वांटिटीज कैसे बनाते हैं, डिराइव्ड क्वांटिटीज की यूनिट्स. एंड then we saw that two supplementary quantities also required for representing certain numbers or certain measurement, where we require angle or where we require solid angle. Right, so next class is on Friday. Next class is on Friday. Friday we will be covering the numerical portion of it, like dimension को हम कैसे use करते हैं to determine the formula and all, like how Newton did. न्यूटन ने कम से कम 200 फॉर्मूले डायमेंशनल एनालिसिस से ही कैलकुलेट किए थे. He gave those 200 formula by using the dimensional approach, but that's not a well defined approach. उसमें कुछ कुछ गलतियां भी हैं. So there are certain formulas that Newton gave were found to be wrong and corrected by some other scientist. ठीक है, so in the next class we will continue from here. So थोड़ी स्टार्टिंग की फिजिक्स आपको बियर करनी पड़ेगी, समझ में आ रहा है बस, that should be okay. अभी ज्यादा दिमाग लगाने वाला पार्ट है नहीं, this is more like theory, but still I'll suggest that you use the SL Arora and the Newton, whichever book in you have respective boards. Read all this, because this is asked sometimes in the school exam, and the dimension analysis part that we will be doing next class is very important. That is used 100%. One question from dimension is there in all the competitive exam, be it JEE or NEET. One question from dimension and dimension analysis is always there. ठीक है, चलो, okay then we will continue on Friday. Right, so we'll continue from here. I'll message the timing and all. So next class we will try to include some numerical from the dimension analysis part.
Okay, sir.
Okay, beta.
Thank you, sir.